Hey everyone, welcome back. It is Icon. Thank you so much for checking out another episode of Esports Analysis. Today, we are on board with the king himself, Mr. SCUMP, as Chicago goes to battle against Seattle. I will say that the majority of the matches in this scrim ended up going Chicago's way. The only one that really didn't was Azir Cave. They, for some reason, got smoked. It was like 250 to 150, somewhere in there. But overall, this was a fairly successful map and series for Chicago. So with this one, without further ado, let's go ahead, let's get into the analysis. We are currently on P1. We're about to rotate to P2 in the next 30 seconds. Nice little flank route and 3-piece from SCUMP. Really nice job there. Unfortunately, all of SCUMP's teammates ended up going down behind him, so they ended up losing spawn for P2. So as this rotates from P1 to P2, you do want to hold that back left spawn. It does look like they have a yellow or a green arrow pushing the back. That was Pristini. He ended up dying. But SCUMP's back there, so maybe they'll be able to get this spawn back after all. So let's go ahead, just to start things off here, let's go ahead, let's pause this, let's bring up the mini-map just so that I can go ahead and show you guys exactly what happened there. So Chicago did have this back spawn, so normally you'd want to push up, you'd want to get as much time in P1, but the most important thing is not losing this back spawn, because if you're talking about money hills on this map and mode, really, P2 is one of the best in the entire game outside of P2 and Hackney Yard, but all of them, right? P3, if you get this spawn and you get control of P3 and you push up mid-map, you can max out all of that time. If you get P4, you'll see that there's a lot of similarities here. If you get P4 and you push up mid-map and you get kills in this range, you can get all the time in P4, and the same with P5. If you have the spawns for P5, you have control of the hill, and you're getting kills in this area, you can get all of the time inside of P5 also. So essentially, all we just did there is ran through each of the hardpoints, but one thing that I want to point out is just that they did end up giving that up, and right now you're going to see them really push towards the back of the map trying to recapture that spawn. Now, the one nice thing about Rammaza is that if you're not able to get those spawns back, it's not necessarily the end of the world, right? There are some maps where if you end up losing a spawn, it also hurts you on the following rotation, but this map is totally different. This is like a really classic old school hardpoint map in that if you don't have P2, it's not the end of the world, because as it rotates to P3, you're already in position to hold spawns and get time inside of P3. So this entire map just ping pongs back and forth from the left side of the map to the right side of the map. So if you're Chicago, there's 20 seconds left. You haven't really been able to get inside of this hardpoint, but it's not the end of the world. It's not a big deal. Just go ahead, set up for P3 and get time in next. So one thing that I like is that when you saw SCUMP come up off of spawns right there, he didn't immediately retreat back. So just to show that mini-map bottom right-hand corner, SCUMP spawned right here outside of P5, and P3 is the next hardpoint, right? But he knew that they already had control of these back spawns, so rather than go backwards and try to help back with spawns, there's no point. If he pushes out into ammo, which is where he just died, if he pushes out in here, that's part of what we talked about, right? You want to try to get as many kills as you can in this area of the map, because if you're getting kills and controlling mid-map, then the enemy has no chance whatsoever of getting anywhere near your spawn and controlling that hard point. So that was a really nice move, a nice heads-up move from SCUMP right there. He saw that there were like 35 seconds left, but he's just going to go ahead and trust that his teammates can get that time inside of P2 or inside of P3. But even if they give it up, they're going to give up the last. They still haven't given it up. Wow, nice kills by Pristini and ENVOY. They're still inside of P3. So it was like 20 seconds left when SCUMP made that move, and none of those points ended up going towards Seattle. That's a big mishap there. If you're going to spend all of your resources and send everybody forward, you have to try to get as much of that time as you possibly can. So not giving up, not getting any of that time inside of P3, even though Seattle spent all of their resources pushing forward, that's a pretty big miss there. So it allowed Chicago to rotate early. They now have spawns inside of construction here, inside of P4, and they were able to get all that time inside of P3. So we saw it was like 70 to 25, 29, somewhere in there. That was the score at the end of P2. It has been completely flipped on its head, right? about 40 seconds of P3 ended up going Chicago's way. And now that it rotated, that was a nice move by SCUMP there. SCUMP, again, was the first person to rotate early. He got a kill top platform. Yes, he ended up going down, but that set the rotations in motion. So now that we're on the other side of the map, you can see that Chicago has spawns for P5, and now this is P3, P4, P5. This is 3 hardpoint rotations in a row that Chicago has had control, basically, of hardpoint. They've had map control, and they're pushed up a little bit. I really like where SCUMP's at right now. So you can see the power of being pushed up towards mid-map, because let me go back to the mini-map. Let me show this for you guys just real quick. If we are on P5, you saw SCUMP was pushed up in here, right? If SCUMP's not there, then Chicago's going to get this spawn, and whoever they're playing, in this instance, Seattle, is going to get this spawn, right? It's pretty close. But if you get pushed up, so when SCUMP was just getting kills, you could see that he was getting shots on top sandbags. So just by them controlling mid-map, now all of a sudden it takes Seattle's spawn from here and it puts them back entirely on the opposite side of the map. They have almost no chance of immediately getting to P5 and breaking it. So that's the power there of being able to get kills while you're pushed up. It does look like somebody snuck through, though, because when SCUMP came up off of spawn, he spawned over towards ammo. The only reason why you would spawn over towards ammo is if there's somebody on the top side of the map near Pier 1 or P1, and that's what seems to be happening now. It looks like the back of this hardpoint is being pushed out, and right there, it looks like probably the last 17, 16 seconds or so might go the way of Seattle. This is a really weird map because this is multiple hills now on the first set of rotations where Seattle has been able to break. They've overtaken the main spawns, and they haven't been able to capitalize and get the majority of the time. Look right there. The last 10 seconds or so, Chicago was spawning out. Seattle had spawns. They did get into hill, and then they weren't able to capitalize on that last 12 points. So perhaps some lost time there that you probably want to have go your way. But this map is going by really quickly. We're already in the 150 to 80 range. So with that, the best thing about these maps and these scrims is that we can listen in. We can get a little bit of an idea in terms of what they're talking about strategy-wise and a little bit more towards morale, stuff like that. So with that, let's go ahead. Let's turn up the volume on their team comms, and let's see what Chicago's talking about.
Third app.
Top
Third apathy.
Oh, no, he just sat there, dude. Oh. Hitting front now. He's hitting front now. He's barely weak.
Yo, third apathy.
Yeah, I'm helping you. I'm helping him.
I got me. App got me. Top construction.
Top plat,
Everyone take a breath.
What's that? Sandbags? Two of them.
There's two
I got one.
It's smoked up.
That's in front. That's in front.
So real quick, let me pause this just for a second, just because I want to break this down for you guys also. So there's a really important thing there that just happened when SCUMP came up off of spawns. You'll see when SCUMP came up off of spawns, he spawned here, right? And the significance of that is that he spawned in P2. Yes, they have people, so he has teammates that are also inside of P2. But what that tells you is that Seattle hasn't pushed up inside construction yet. Because if Seattle was in this range right here, SCUMP's going to spawn all the way out towards ammo. So just by that simple spawn knowledge right there, if he spawns closer to the hill, again, yes, he has teammates inside P2, but that just means that Seattle hasn't pushed out back of P2 yet. So that means essentially not all has been lost. So I just want to make sure that I pointed that out because there's a big distinction between spawning close to P2 and spawning out towards ammo. Let's go ahead and let's listen back in.
Damon, sandbag. Yo, Matt, watch
Top ammo. Holy shit.
I have side door.
Two front guys.
Oh, shit.
Look in front.
Yeah, look front.
Sandbag, Damon dead.
I'm
funning
I
help.
just-
Can you help?
Run again.
Somehow got out.
On Sam dead.
I smoked out front. If there's no one front.
Two front.
I've been seeing this over and over again. Look at the mini-map in the top left-hand screen. I know it's really hard to see up where it says SCUMP. Right here, there's a green arrow. So as soon as SCUMP came off spawn with like 36, 37 seconds, I noticed there was a green arrow up there. So that's kind of what's been happening all game, is that somebody from Chicago has been leaking out in that 30, 35 second range. And it's been helping them because the rest of their team, everybody's been able to slay in old Hardpoint while somebody leaks out and sets up for new Hardpoint.
Bottom mid weak on you.
Another one here.
I'm getting out with
Shit, guys,
Preston.
One more front. He knows you're in the corner.
Absolutely.
20.
Okay.
Preston, they're gonna be here. They're gonna be here.
I'm hiding this truck.
One's
I'm
gonna
down.
be guys.
Hey,
Rest
there's
are gonna
20
be
back
construction on
alley.
me.
20 back alley.
Yeah,
Focus
actually,
left,
don't
focus
be
left.
left.
I got one.
One
What,
back dead.
dude? He's weak. Weak pillars. Weak pillars. Two pillars, guys.
Damage.
Nice, good help. Alec, I got your help back here.
I'm
Go back.
eliminating.
Back
Go,
absolutely.
go, go, go.
You guys gotta kill that guy.
Where'd he go?
He's just
Go back
pillars.
there.
He's short pillars. Respawn ammo still.
Dead.
Just kill that one guy.
One
Nice.
dead.
My time.
Okay, I'm going.
Oh shit, I'm supposed to be holding left.
Yeah, hold left,
Fuck
hold
me.
left.
I'm helping you
Right here,
left. I'm
alley.
helping you left from mid. One's alley already. Alley.
Look here, alley.
Holding ladder.
One more
Alley,
front,
one
Jerry.
down.
Last guy.
Holding
One more
flat,
front.
I flashed
Come on,
him.
mid.
We saw him
Everybody,
back.
they can go mid lane. That's it.
Looking back alley out.
Trying to get out.
Yeah, get out, get out.
Yo, Frog's dead.
They got- might be mid lane,
Look
might be mid lane.
again. Look at the mini map. Look how far everybody from Chicago's pushed out. I mean, this, you don't really see this very often. In fact, a lot of times on this map, you see the team that has the spawns for P3 even kind of spawn trap back behind P3. Hardly ever do you see teams pushed out towards mid-map and controlling that entire side of the map. This is just a really impressive job from Chicago of not only getting the map rotations and winning those gun battles and winning those team spawns, but then pushing back towards mid-map to get as much map control as you can. Really nice job here from them.
One's
I'll
the
go
ladder,
curve.
one's the
Getting
ladder.
initial.
Curve dead.
One's flanking you, flanking you right now. Whoever that is.
I hear you.
More pie that.
Could be
More pie.
spawning.
And it seems like as the last few seconds tick off here, this is going to be quite a beatdown. I'm super impressed, honestly. This is one of the best maps that I've seen Chicago play, just because it seems like over and over again, not only were they leaking out early, not only were they gaining spawns for next, but once they had control of the hard point, they were able to push back out towards mid-map and get a ton of map control. I wanted to go ahead and I wanted to see, it looks like Arcees was 25 and 16, Formal was 23 and 14-ish, maybe. I can't quite see because Scump's camera's in the way. Scump was 23 and 18. Everybody did a really nice job. Pristini was -3, but again, he's that entry man. He's the one that's rotating early. He's the one that's playing super aggressive. So -3 from Pristini is no big deal. But with that, guys, really nice job here from Chicago. If this is your first time checking out my channel, I put out brand new videos covering the CDL like this every single day. So make sure you hit that subscribe button. If you guys have any comments on this one, maybe you saw more pander and apathy and you're starting to see that old but new Seattle roster. I know it's really weird to say that what's been happening with Pander being subbed in and out, but if you have any comments, make sure you put them down below. Leave a like before you head on the way. It really helps out the channel. With that, guys, thank you so much for the support recently. I super appreciate it, and I will catch you in tomorrow's upload.